The astute observer will notice, because I want to actually fix that, find a way of reconnecting, but not today. And I'm over onto my not so good camera, but just while it's in my head, God, this racket, it's like, do they have no respect to the tourists paying £4,000 a week? Surely that could be scheduled out of peak tourism season. Forget it. I've no interest in this region whatsoever. It's just, except there is no. My only interest in life is speaking with people in a way to non-intrusively assist in education. You cannot speak like that here, I've discovered. I meet a few people who want to, but then you realise, except for one, there's one. She's remarkable with her husband and 2 kids. But then everybody else, it's like they want to engage at a sort of genuine good educational level, but then they don't continue. It's too dangerous. It's frightening the horses. The currency of this area is sucking up to people who may have the money to rent for £1,000 a week. Houses, that's the currency. And it's categorical. It's it's like been known for 20 years. The only good thing is there's loads of space. I'm going out for the afternoon, away from everybody. But what was I saying? Yes, child workers and people like that. Due to a previous role, I've had a lot to do with those people, working with them, sometimes in theory against them. In other words, they're in legal cases which I've been running for parents who are being tyrannised by society, as sane people know. And they're such shabby people. I mean, refer back to Rachel Bramble. I don't normally name people. They're so shabby. The notion... Oh, I know what I wanted to say. Yeah, anyone looking at my material might think I'm obsessed with drugs. No, it's just... The reality is, it's so many kids. There's a road up there. They're back and forth. There's a town 2 miles away. I don't think I'm going to come back here. Because they clock you. It's like... But these are only, I don't know, 20 to 25-year-olds. They belt back and forth. And then they go and guzzle tons of drugs. And there'll be dealers going down there. Now, I have no interest. Other than one thing. Your Sam Harrises and people like that, and David Fuller. I mean, the only reason I can tolerate Megan Down and Sarah Hayter is they know better. They don't put it in good language. But your Sam Harrises, etc., your Pristine people, your Falmouth, your Greek, all of these people, middle classes, you will get extra enlightenment through psychedelics some of the time. No, you get extra enlightenment by day in, day out, no matter what. And I've had to deal with the hardest emotional fucking vandalism ever. Off and on for 20 years, and a hell of a lot of the last 13 years. Never do I self-anesthetize. I'm waking up, 5:30, and like, hey, my mind is sharp as a bell. Maybe some good insights will come to me today. That's what, the human mind, unadulterated by their psychedelics. Also, this movement towards use psychedelics to treat depression and things like that. No. Authenticity is one big step. Of course, your Sam Harrises and all of that lot are terrified of that word because they know deep down they're not entirely authentic. When Sam Harris is putting on his podcast a year and a half ago, oh, everybody will be free if they want. All they have to do is ask. Is it in the back of his mind? But one day I might need to change that. That's inauthentic. And that blocks you. Drugs. I had the most incredible insight. See, there you go, insight. Insights happen in real life, unadulterated. Yeah, I realised 20 years ago kind of what an issue, or rather if there is a solution, I don't know what the solution is, but the solution is to, first of all, like, I know I have jolly good transcendental creativity some of the time. It's only because I wake up with my mind totally and utterly unadulterated by anything. Because I've done the other. Now, the other just, it's just masturbation. But even Fat Man can't speak about this honestly. Anyway, quickly. You see, drugs. 20 years ago, I had an extraordinary experience for 3 or 4 weeks, locked in a little room with a chap who was, amusing in a way, but he had been a violent hoodlum who sold drugs in his vicinity. I think it was somewhere in Stoke, there you go. And he was known as the chief drug quality supplier in the region, the supplier of quality. And he cared about his calling. Why? A few days later, he's literally crying on my knee. I did crime, I did violence, etc., to somehow reach my daddy. You know, it's classic, interesting. But if you're going to speak with people about drugs, and I've had this conversation with quite a few local parents, I think the most important thing to them now, utilitarian philosophy. I thought I'd cross the line with one, but no. She said I was speaking valuably, is know who you're getting it from. That's the most important thing. 40 years ago, you were safe. People didn't doctor things. Now, lots of the suppliers doctor things with horrible stuff. Know who you're getting it from. But that's that. That's a practical. I don't want to be in a place. I don't want to be in a country. It's nothing like as bad in Europe. Nothing like as bad. I asked the German woman and I trust her. But here's the interesting thing. How does society deal with this? I don't know. But I spent this few weeks with Ronnie and I knew why he was selling drugs. And he was into bling and he was constantly going on, I hope they don't find the £5,000 watch. He was just a working class bloke. He was doing it only for one reason. Pride. He needed to get pride, esteem. And that's a completely human, innocent, understandable thing. And because he'd had a terrible childhood, his father was taken away from him when he loved his father. His father, there was a wanker and got into booze and drugs himself. It was like, I still, age 50, need to prove to my daddy I'm the best at something. So if you ask me, well, I thought about it then, but I was distracted. It's like, what the police need to do is they need to find 1 or 2 Ronnies in every region who, because Ronnie, he didn't actually want people to hurt themselves. He would speak to me at great length. He didn't want people to overdose or anything like that. He was actually quite wise. He would tell me of all his close shaves with huge bags of ecstasy or whatever the police didn't get because he managed to put them in somebody's bin. But it's like he was doing it only. It's not about money. And it's not about drugs or enlightenment or awareness. He was doing it for pride, for his damaged self-esteem, and he could say one thing in life and everybody else said, you're the best top quality drug dealer in the area. Now of course he'd had to use some violence to achieve that